that I thought of when I woke up this morning was today's podcast. And that is because it has been one of the biggest learning experiences of my life around how I want to live and why sometimes I get caught up in the day-to-day. And that is totally about grounding. I want to talk about how we do it, why we do it, and give you a few of my favorite things to do to help me feel more grounded. So I hope that this inspires you and allows you to reassess maybe those day-to-day emotions and help you to decide if this is something for you. All right, let's get started. Hey friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey Barr, and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No. This is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this, you are worth it, and you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in. I feel so incredibly blessed to be at a stage in my life where I feel like I can encourage other people to become a better person and become a better version of themselves, right? Because we're not in a competition with someone else. We're truly in a competition with our past self. But some of these lessons that keep coming up in my life are a reiteration of past lessons, like, hey, you didn't learn this enough, or hey, you forgot about this foundational thing. And so that's what I'm talking about today, is the foundation of being grounded and what that means, especially to me, because I feel like it's a feeling more than it is anything else. Like, for example, I will often think, oh my gosh, I feel a little bit off today, or I just don't feel myself. And you might relate to that. Some people don't think of it that way. Some people notice it in being unfocused or not having clarity or productiveness that they're used to during their workday. So it's different for everybody, but it can be so subtle that you might overlook it as maybe being a simple fix. And that's where I feel like I keep learning that lesson over and over is, look, maybe you're a little off, but maybe you just need to do some grounding and then everything's going to be better and you're going to feel better. So let's walk through what that means for me. And you can just take these different tips and apply whichever one fits best in your life or you've noticed, a change with. So my number one favorite way to ground myself would be to go outside and walk barefoot. And I will often play some Hertz music in the background, not super loud, but just I find it enhances that feeling of being grounded. This is my favorite thing to do. So while I have other tips, this is just something that makes me happy. And especially if I have like chores to do with my chickens or with the dogs, or, I don't like getting the mail because there's a lot of gravel between my house and the mailbox. So that's probably not what I'm doing. But just being on the earth with my feet in the ground has been such a grounding experience. I literally feel like at one with earth. And that to me is just priceless. So I know that not everybody lives somewhere where they can go do that. And I will say that from my experience, past experience with Eastern medicine, and then as well as a Mayan abdominal massage practitioner, it's not encouraged to do grounding barefoot on the ground in like cold or wet situation. So here in Florida, I probably wouldn't do that first thing in the morning because the dew is pretty much always there. And you don't really want to expose yourself to something super cold on the feet, because that blood that circulates around your feet is going to come back up to your intestines, to your women organs. If you're a woman and you're concerned about fertility, this is something I learned from a long time ago when I had my own struggles, but you basically don't want that blood coming back up super cold. So I just don't really do that in the morning time, and I don't recommend it for you if you're in a cold or damp environment. But it is super cool when you can get your hands and your feet in dirt that just feels warm, and you can, your skin's absorbent, so you're getting other nutrients too, which is amazing. So that's like my favorite go-to for grounding. Okay, another one that I really love, and I know a lot of people don't do visualization. Some people say they can't do it. I feel like that's a big statement I hear from people sometimes, like, I can't meditate, I can't visualize. And there is a certain amount of people, like a small percentage, that literally can't visualize, but there's a lot of us that are just not wanting to connect on that level. And so I would encourage you to address what kind of blocks you may have around wanting to visualize. Maybe you're fearful for not wanting to visualize something that you don't want, or you don't believe that you could visualize something to into your life, like you can't manifest and that kind of thing. And I think those lines get a little blurred. So it's definitely something to try. But if you feel like you're not able or unworthy, then that's maybe something more to dig into for you. But one thing that I love to do with visualizing and grounding is I love to see that there is some kind of hold on the bottom of the sacrum, and it like hooks into the earth. And a lot of times I will see that even if I'm inside or I'm walking or whatever, and I'm not even in the dirt, I will see that hook into the earth and just see things sprout from my feet. Like, let's say flowers. If it's springtime, it's like beautiful flowers. Or maybe if I'm feeling super impressionable, I guess would be a good word for it. It's just like when you walk in a room and someone's upset and you're automatically upset too. Or you just can have like the tiniest thing happen and you're just kind of flowing through these emotions back and forth and just like not really feeling into life and not really feeling grounded at all is basically how I can describe it. It feels very floaty. It feels very like you don't know what's going to happen next. And at the end of the day, you're like, man, I wasted a lot of time today either being happy or sad or angry or whatever. So it's just like this flow to things. And a lot of us, especially if we are in the earth sign, and I'm not talking about astrology, I'm talking about in Eastern medicine, a lot of earth people have to feel completely grounded to Mother Earth in order to experience life and joy and just being more of like an even keel. So that happens a lot. I see it in a lot of people, and I'll be like, oh, have you ever figured out like what, if you're an earth sign or whatever? And the other thing with that is we tend to be very connected to our own moms or mom figures. So if you're one of those people, then you might find if you have like an argument with your mom, or if you're not in talking terms or something like that, it really feels like everything else is kind of falling apart. It's that same connection. It's that same grounding connection with earth. So if that's you and you feel like that is a huge determination of where you are in life, then I would suggest taking on more grounding practices daily. Because you can't always fix everything with relationships or other people, right? But we can fix ourselves. So a good way for you to move past that desire to need to feel loved or whatever it could be with your mom figure, you can definitely do the grounding every day. And that would be with Mother Earth, right? So that's like the cycle that happens. It's like we have to feel like we're in place with the work that I do and work that I've seen other people do around healing. even with my acupuncturist, I know that if I go into there and I'm not grounded, then the things we release are just kind of like spaced out in there, and they're like floating around, and they're, not really leaving, because you really need that positive charge into the earth in order for you to process those things. So hopefully that makes sense for you. But that is my second favorite way to do it, is just like visualization. And when I visualize, I add in feelings too, or I definitely allow myself to feel support, because that's a big thing with grounding. So if you're feeling unsupported, you might find yourself in a situation where you're not really feeling connected to yourself. And so that would be another indication that maybe you should look at this part. Okay, so totally unconventional. Last tip is a freebie, because I want you to do whatever makes you feel more connected to yourself. You need to feel authentic in whatever idea or task you come up with to help you feel grounded. Okay, so another thing that I love to do is ride around in my Jeep with the stinking top off and my windows down, preferably a hair tie or hat or beanie, but just saying that with some music, my favorite music blaring, is such a release for me, and I literally leave feeling more grounded. And since I know that feeling so well, it's easy for me to connect it and be like, oh, okay, that's what I got to do then. You have to find something that you can fit into your day that's going to feed your soul and feed your uniqueness and make you feel better, okay? Because floating around and being impressionable towards other people's emotions and just not feeling yourself is no way to live, okay? Now, I know that some days we're going to wake up and we're just going to feel totally off, okay? And let's just hope that that is one day and it passes and we move on and we learn whatever lessons we need to learn, right? But occasionally, it's just a hint to say, look, just take a minute, refocus, reconnect. You can always do gratitudes. You can always pray. You can always meditate, right? In order to get that connection going again. But the last thing you want to do is ignore it until another day goes by and another day. And that's just no way to live. So I want to encourage you to think outside of the box, to really find something that just allows you to feel at peace. And when you feel that connection, thrive on it. In that moment, say, wow, I'm so grateful for this moment. I'm so grateful for this or for that. That will help you to keep it with you. So I hope this was helpful in some way, maybe inspiring for you, for whomever it is for. I love to be here for you and to be able to share my thoughts and my ideas with all of you. So I hope you have a fabulous day, and we will talk again soon. I hope this podcast spoke to you in some way. If it did, please go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe so that I know you're enjoying what you hear. And further, if you know somebody else who owns their own creative business and struggles with anything that we spoke about, please pass this on, because it is my hope that we will be able to build a community of like-minded individuals who love on each other and appreciate the many facets that make our creative business so unique. And lastly, check out the show notes to find my free Facebook community and other useful links to work with me. All right, friend, see you soon.